And now another episode of Donny Boast Friday Football Flash. Your host with the most, Donny Boast.
Thank you, Frank. That was a rustic little welcome there. Ladies and gentlemen, it is week 11 now in the NFL, and the Carolina Panthers have actually won a football game. Yes, sirree, folks, they edged out the New Orleans Saints at home 23-20 in another silly Thursday night football kickoff. We will be reviewing the games that were and the games that will be, but first we must get to the real news of the day, and that is Tony Romo out as Dallas Cowboys quarterback. It's official, everybody. His time has come to an end, and Dak Prescott will now lead the boys into battle. Our prediction here on the show, I don't think he's going to do it. I think at some point he's going to make a rookie mistake in the playoffs, and it's going to catch up with him, and they're going to lose. But that doesn't mean the Cowboys aren't still playing with house money. They do have a shot on it. Maybe I'll be the fool. We don't know. What we do know is that traditionally in the NFL, these kinds of runs do come to an end, and not with a Lombardi trophy. Week 10 was pretty eventful, if you consider such things eventful. We were pretty hot last week, calling some of the games as they were and as we thought they might be. But in review, as always, Green Bay is in big, big, big trouble, everyone. They just don't have what it takes this year. They don't have any depth. Everybody's injured. It's a very grim situation. There's even talk about getting rid of Mike McCarthy. I think that's a little drastic. It's still Green Bay. You still have Aaron Rodgers. You got to keep your coach intact. You just need another solid draft and a good offseason, and everybody will come back strong in the year to follow. Denver at New Orleans. The game of the week, with the New Orleans Saints choking with a blocked extra point, giving Denver the victory 25-23 in what was predicted to be a 2-point spread. The Lambs at the Jets. It has grown grim in New York. Ken O'Brien is nowhere to be found, and Boomer, well, he's an afterthought. Joe Namath, if he could only have another vitamin B shot to get back in the ball game, maybe, just maybe, there would be hope for the New York Football Jets. But no, they are terrible, they are awful, they are abysmal. And the Los Angeles Lambs beat them at home. And as we said last week, no one would score more than a field goal in this game, and nobody did. 9-6, your baseball score in that debacle. The Atlanta Falcons went into Philadelphia and lost. A good game fought by Philly. Chicago, of course, lost in Tampa Bay. Just a stupid game. Two teams that shouldn't exist anymore, but they still do. Minnesota at Washington. Minnesota still on the slide. Washington on the upswing. Beats them at home 26-20. The Chefs come back against the aforementioned Carolina Panthers and won 20-17 in Carolina. The Houston Texans, who are first in line for the Tony Romo trade of the year, won in Jacksonville, not surprising, 24-21. Jacksonville is just completely unraveled. The Miami Dolphins are now on a kick, and they're now on a stride. They went into the San Diego Superchargers and beat them handily 31-24. It was a game that a lot of people thought would be a little bit closer, and it wasn't. San Diego just fell asleep in this one. Speaking of falling asleep, the Arizona Cardinals only beat the Yorks by 3 points. They really, really, really didn't give them anything. Bruce Arians might be on the hot seat here, and if you're another team that needs a coach, he's the guy to get. Dallas Cowboys, of course, won in Pittsburgh 35-30, a game that everybody wanted to watch, and at the end of the day, we're pretty surprised by the result, believe it or not. Seattle went into New England, and the goal line stands for Seattle worked out, but hey, it wasn't the Super Bowl, so who cares? Cincinnati Bengals lost. The Cincinnati Bengals lost. The Cincinnati Bengals lost, but pushed, because they only lost by 1 to the upstart New York Giants. It's that time of year, everybody, where the Giants start to surprise people. moving into week 11, the stakes are getting higher and higher as the year gets closer and closer to the end. Buffalo at the Bungles. Buffalo are the underdogs. 2.5-point favorites are the Bungles. I'm going to take Buffalo. Pittsburgh at Cleveland. This is not Cleveland's day. Pittsburgh's going to go to even 5-5. Baltimore at Dallas. Dallas -7. That's going to be an interesting spread. They really got to push it to Baltimore, and they're going to do it. Jacksonville at Detroit. Detroit favored by 7. It's at 6.5. Detroit is now ahead in the black and blue NFC Norris, and I think they're going to win big against Jacksonville, who doesn't travel well, and what business do they have going to Detroit in the Dome? Tennessee at Indianapolis. It's always fun when these two teams play, and he's favored by 3. I guess you got to take them, but maybe not. I don't know. Both teams are interesting. Marcus Mariota is doing some stuff out there in Tennessee. Can he do it on the road against Andrew Luck? Well, a lot of people can, and a lot of teams do. Tampa Bay at the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are favored by 7.5. That's a fair spread. I would have to take the Chiefs. Arizona at Minnesota. Minnesota by 2.5. That's an ugly game. Don't watch it. Chicago at the New York Football Giants. Giants 7.5. You got to take it. Chicago is in complete disarray. The Dolphins at the Lambs. Miami 1.5. Take the under. I don't know what the under-over-under is, but it should be no more than 3 points. New England at the Yorks. New England at -13. It's Tom Brady's barrier homecoming. Again, we have another lock of the decade against the Yorks. This is it. 14 points is all the Patriots have to beat them by, and they can do it. Philadelphia at Seattle. Seattle favored by 6.5. I like Philly to try to push this one here, but I also like Seattle to cover. I think this is going to be a big moment for them. It's going to be a good game. I thought it was the night game. It's not, because Green Bay has to go into Washington. Still Washington favored by a field goal. I guess you got to take Washington. Maybe Green Bay will surprise you. I think they will, because Washington's not good. In fact, you heard it here first, folks. Green Bay is going to win that ball game. The Houston Texans. Yuck. At the Oakland Raiders. The Raiders are favored by 6. It is Monday Night Football, and we know how the Raiders love Monday Night Football, everybody. That is the game to watch. That is the game to see. The Oakland Raiders will go 8-2 at home on Monday night. We'll see you then.